Welcome to Blood Bowl 2 Legendary Edition. I'm continuing my review of my Amazons campaign in last season's Open Ladder. The Amazons have played 6 matches so far, we have 5 victories, but in our last match we suffered a defeat against a Camry team. I was particularly disappointed because I felt I had the opportunity to score the equalizer, but unfortunately I spurned it with some awful play. So this was a chance for me to redeem myself. The Amazons are still, I feel, a little underdeveloped, fact borne out by the previous match, in which we were sort of outclassed by the Tomb Guardians of the Camry team. This time around we are playing against a Kislev team, sort of an unusual team to see in the Open Ladder. They are a very hard team to start with. Eventually their players get access to some remarkable skills, but at the outset they are kind of mediocre. They lack block at the TV 1000 level, so I think new coaches will find them very frustrating. Before we continue, let's take a look at our teams. I have a squad of 13 for this match. As you can see, I got a few players leveled up. This Blitzer has guard. This Blitzer has mighty blow. This linewoman has wrestle. And so does this linewoman who leveled up in the previous match. My catcher is now level 3 and I've given her a sidestep. So this makes her very hard to push out of the push off the field. If I park the catcher with the ball along the sidelines here, any attempts to push her off the field is going to be frustrated. The opposition, meanwhile, I've got a couple of players leveled up. So they have 4 players with block. Remember, again, they don't start with block, so this was something they really need. This is the Blitzer. Unusually, they come with a diving tackle. Players who are not accustomed to playing against players with a diving tackle will be kind of surprised at how much it can frustrate you when you're attempting to dodge away from them. This lineman has both block as well as agility 4. So he's going to be pretty amazing as a blitzer when he's jumping into cages. This catcher has catch. Sorry, not catch, dodge. And he starts with agility 4. And this blitzer has block as well. So the whole gameplay with the Kislev team is basically they use their leap skill, which you can also find on war dancers, but the entire team is capable of leaping. Unfortunately, the entire team does not have agility 4, only the catchers do. And this team only has 1 catcher with agility 4. This lineman also has agility 4, so these 2 players will be something to look out for. It's kind of hard to defend against the Kislev team. So if you're not accustomed to facing them, you are going to find yourself constantly surprised at their maneuverability and how they pop up in unexpected areas. So unusually this team does not have any substitutes. The Kislev are not a very heavily armored team. They only have average armor. This catcher has AV7. So if there's one advantage to be gleaned here, it's the fact that they don't have much of a bench. They don't have any players on their bench. In fact, I have 2 substitutes which I usually depend on, because AV7 teams tend to get knocked out and injured during the course of a match. But I was pretty optimistic I could get a result here. They gain fame, which is going to help them. with kickoff events. I do have a Bloodwiser Babe, so I think I was playing against a team with a superior team value here. I'm setting myself up very aggressively here. So, kickoff event is a high kick. I position my catcher, who is now level 3, to pick the ball. Or catch the ball rather. Here comes our initial blocks. I was hoping to get a couple of armor breaks here. Maybe a few pitch removals if I was really lucky. Obviously I'm going to blitz with the Mighty Blow Blitzer in an attempt to get the Kislev player removed from the pitch. So far nothing dramatic. Here comes the blitz. It's only a push. So I get another opportunity to knock down this player with this line woman. Unfortunately she lags block. So maybe slightly risky. Move the catcher up. Try to protect her. So the whole thing about the Kislev team again. They are capable of leaping into the cage and making a risky one-die block against the ball carrier. But fortunately, for me, the Kislev team does not have any players with tackle. See what the Kislev coach does here. Kislev are sort of an unusual team because they are not originally in Blood Bowl. Oh, they were added to it. And they are based on a race of space frogs. Apparently Games Workshop decided that space frogs were too unrealistic for Blood Bowl. Now bear in mind that Blood Bowl is a game about with trolls, with goblins and hobgoblins and vampires. But space frogs were apparently too much for Games Workshop, so they decided to drop the space frogs and replace them with Russian acrobats. Or maybe they were Ukrainian. I really don't know. So this is the first armor break for us. It's only a stun. The Kislev coach has spread his players across the pitch here. Still attempting to force a pitch removal with my Mighty Blow Blitzer. It's only a stun this time. I'm not too sure about this positioning here. So we take a look at the current situation. This player has a one-die block against this blitzer. If he moves one of these players or one of these players from over here, he gets a two-die block. Can either knock down this blitzer or push her away. If he manages to knock down this blitzer and moves forward, I wonder if there's an opportunity to chain push the ball carrier down here. Maybe that would be his thinking, but fortunately for me, the ball carrier has... Oh, okay, yeah. Ball carrier does have a sidestep here. So even if she's chain push, I should be able to position her over here. Let's see what happens. It's only a push. Another chain block, I think, from this player. But first he's attempting to get a 2-die block here. He's making all sorts of safe moves here, so which suggests to me a coach who's very who has played the game and is somewhat experienced. And the first KO comes against my Mighty Blow Blitzer. So the original plan was for my Mighty Blow Blitzer to remove his players, but he decided to KO my Mighty Blow Blitzer instead. Which is what I was saying in previous videos. Whenever you have a Mighty Blow player on your team, it tends to attract the attention of the opposition coach. So he blitzes over here. Players are sort of stymied if they want to move forward, but I can simply attempt to dodge away. I could attempt to move this side now. But the problem right now, I'm already down to 10. Wrestle pays off. It was a 1 in 9, but fortunately, due to wrestle, could wrestle the player down without risk of turnover. Here's the blitz. Opening up some space here. So this is not a very comfortable position to find ourselves in. This move is relatively safe. So is this move. Now to disengage these players I have to make some risky blocks, and there's always a 1 in 9 chance of failure. But this was a reasonable move, I think. Instead of dodging out, I block. And fortunately this is the first injury to SPP for this blitzer. Ten versus 10. This was the catcher. Agility 4, but only AV7. And here comes the first leap. A 1 dice block, and it succeeds improbably. It's only a 1 in 6 chance of knocking down, and the Kislev coach was lucky enough to get that result that he wanted. So the ball is loose, but fortunately we have plenty of players here. This was really a bit frustrating to have my ball carrier knocked down with a 1 in 6, but I wasn't too worried. A failed attempt to knock my blitzer down, thanks to dodge. So the Kislev have got plenty of players in close proximity to my own. Pick up this line woman. Only 5 players over here, 5 players over here. But if I'm going to attempt to move forward, I think this would be the best area to go through. I will have to reposition my players to get 2 die blocks. And I have to get rid of this player here in order to make it easier for my whoever is going to pick up the ball. Because this ball is right now in the Kislev tackle zone. Picking it up is going to be a 50% chance. So here's the blitz. The ball is relatively safe here. Move the guard player up. So this is where guard comes immensely useful. It helps to turn what would otherwise be 1 dice blocks into 2D blocks. But still, I need to succeed those blocks. First one is only a push. Not ideal, but acceptable. Pick up the ball with a thrower who fails. Succeeds with a reroll. Mover here, kind of dicey. So this was a chain push. Knock this player down. Now this player has a 2D block against this player. But still there's a gap here. And one player who could dodge out to make another 1D block against the ball carrier. The ball carrier does not have the block skill. So knocking her down is going to be easier compared to sacking a ball carrier who has both block and dodge. This is only a push. This time I succeed in knocking down this player. I was running out of time here. Don't know whether I had enough time to perform this last block here. I was down to 2 rerolls. I still had 4 turns after this. And I've already used my reroll earlier to pick up the ball. Nonetheless, I succeed in knocking down this blitzer. It's a big gap over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This player has agility 4. So dodging away from here is going to be an 83%. With the reroll it goes up to 97%. Jump up, one of those underappreciated skills. Manages to push away the guard player. Fails to knock her down. Tries again, this time he succeeds, and it's only a stunt. She will pick herself up in 2 turns time. So where is the blitz coming from? Okay, he goes to foul the guard player. Fails to break armor. Oh, he broke the armor actually. Broke armor but failed to get a result better than stun. So here's the blitz from the blitzer. It's a 1 dice block again. It's only a push. So this time the Kislev coach was not as lucky. A blitz here to reposition his blitzer. So the first move is to attempt to free the ball carrier. No armor break. Got a lot of space over here. But I don't have enough players to form a cage, so I will have to make a couple of risky dodges here. So it's pretty obvious that the cage is going to be over here. But there are so many players who are in close proximity to the cage. So it's not going to be very difficult for them to prise open the cage. I had 3 turns after this. So this one was a very risky move. What I was doing here is attempting to give the ball to my level 3 catcher who had both block and sidestep in addition to her starting skill, catch and dodge. And the reason for this is because I was hoping it to make it as difficult as possible for the Kislev coach to knock down the ball carrier. So, but there was a risk of failing this handoff. The handoff was going to be a straightforward 67%. If it failed, I could use the reroll, and with the reroll, the chances of succeeding go up to 89%. Still, a 1 in 9 chance of failure. Would it succeed? It does. So forced to use the reroll here to avoid the turnover. So I need to do something with this player, I think. Fail dodge there. The dreaded 1 in 9 for the Amazons. So not as bad as it seemed earlier. Kislev coach has spread his players around. Probably not the best idea because the Kislev team is not a very fast team. However, they can use their leap skill. But there's always a risk of failure. They do have 2 rerolls left. Here comes. So this is providing an assist. Okay, here is... Nope. Okay. Once again, the Kislev coach is attempting to remove my guard player. Probably smart play. Because the guard player makes it difficult for him to leap into the cage if she is correctly positioned. So there was a smart play there from him. So that was once again another one-die block in which the Kislev coach managed to get the 17% chance he needed to knock down the ball carrier. There's only a 1 in 6 chance of knocking down the ball carrier, and somehow he managed it once again. Without a reroll either. Once again we have to pick up the ball. And to complicate matters, he gets the ball now. So this was a very frustrating turn for me. Once again, the Kislev coach managed to get a one-die block, knock down the ball carrier, and this time leaps onto the ball, grabs it and dodges away. Granted, he had to use a reroll and is down to 1 reroll. But things are looking kind of dicey for me at the moment. He does have one player here who serves as a potential receiver, and he has 3 turns after this. I have 3 turns to knock down the ball carrier and make my way to the end zone. Could I do it? Another risky play from the Kislev coach. So was this strictly speaking necessary? I think the Kislev coach's thinking here is that this player was not safe here. He was worried that my players would dodge away and sack the ball carrier. Sort of understand why he attempted it, but he was out of rerolls. He already used it earlier in the turn. This was only a 50% chance of succeeding the pass. And on top of that, he had to catch it as well. Maybe he should not have dodged away here. Maybe he should have dodged this side. Try to get the ball away from his end zone. So we have the ball closer to us. First attempting to, I think, mark these players. Need to get rid of these players over here. And then pick up the ball. I was down to 9 players. And facing 10 Kislev players. Here's the blitz. Not a great result for me. I've merely positioned this player closer to the ball. Too risky dodges here. So apparently I was running out of time. I took a lot of time trying to figure out what I was going to do here. Yep. There you can hear those chimes signaling that I had run out of time. Simply out of ideas how to extricate myself from the situation. At least I have the ball now, but it's relatively easy for the Kislev coach to once again manages to sack the ball carrier. And remember, this ball carrier has block and dodge. I was incredibly annoyed at this point in the game, I think, at how easily the Kislev coach was finding it to sack my ball carriers. Okay. Add insult to injury. If I was irritated before, I was pretty dismayed at this point in the game, I think. Another dead player. My second of the campaign. Granted, it was only a 0 SPP line woman, and it would only cost 50k to replace her, but nonetheless, very frustrating. So finally, just as I said that, I was down to 7 players against 9. It did not look as if I was going to be able to score. And remember, this is my offensive drive in the first half. In the next half, the Kislev get the ball. I think my thinking here is there's absolutely no chance I'm going to get the ball. Kislev has so many players here. And there was a distinct danger that this player could receive the ball and score it in the last 2 turns. Granted, the Kislev coach was out of re-rolls, but so was I. Yeah, this pretty much signaled that I was officially out of ideas for getting the ball and scoring a touchdown, so I was resigned to preventing the other team from scoring. This was very discouraging for me, I think, in the first half. With all the armor bricks going against me, I needed to break their armor. If there was a bright spot to this, I at the very least had 2 substitutes waiting to come on. There was no guarantee that these 3 KO'd players would return for the next drive or the next half. Each of these players has I do think I have a Bloodweiser beam, so there was a 67% chance of them getting up. Kislev coach here attempting to free up the ball, I think. I think there was no danger of him. Could he? Nope. So this put paid to any hopes he had of scoring first in this half. So all that was left to me now was to try to inflict some injuries. The Kislev coach would be down to 9 players for the second half. If I could get a couple of armor breaks now and reduce his numbers, maybe I could salvage something from this match. And the third injury for the Kislev coach. He is now down to 8. So this is my attempt to remove another one of his players. It results only in a stun. So I was not as fortunate as he was with the fouling. He KO'd my guard blitzer. But I was not able to reciprocate. And he gets the ball. Is he going to attempt a passing play here? Nope. And he kills another one of my players. Four KO'd players. And that is the end of the first half. The big question is, would the slumbering Amazons recover? Each of them has a 67% chance thanks to the Bloodweiser Babe. Nope, only one of them recovers, even with the Bloodweiser Babe. Nonetheless, let's see what the numbers are now. We started with a squad of 13, so we have 9 players. They meanwhile have only a team of 8 for their offensive drive. I had a slight advantage, but because the Kislev are very unpredictable team thanks to their leaping, I was not quite sure what was going to occur here. Could I prevent the Kislev from scoring? I positioned 5 players on the line of scrimmage very aggressively here. Move my block and wrestle players behind. I'm really happy that the guard player recovered. She gives me a major advantage, I think. So I think the winner of this match is going to be the one who gets the armor breaks in this half. Who will it be? Will it be the Amazons with their AV7, or will it be the Kislev with their AV8? They get an extra team reroll. So they are up to 4. And they are probably going to use it for their leaping plays. The opening blocks from the Kislev coach. Knocks down the line woman. Fails to break her armor. Ditto the second. What about the third? It's only pushed back. And now the blitz. Nope. Trying to keep the ball carrier safe first. Oh, refuses to blitz. Interesting. I think he was wary because he was down to 8 players and didn't want to leave any of his players isolated. since I had already demonstrated a willingness to foul his players. So this is pretty much attempting to stall him. Nothing too aggressive for now. This time he blitzes. Knocks down the line woman, who is KO'd due to that roundhouse kick. Very spectacular block from the Kislev lineman. Cyanide has done a good job with the animation, I think. Don't know how many calories they are burning just simply jumping up and down like this nervously. Oh, failed dodge there. So here I was attempting to sack the ball carrier. This line woman had a wrestle. So I think that was a 50% chance to sack the ball carrier, even though he had block. But due to that failed dodge, I think I was in a bit of a bother here. So the Kislev coach is being kind of conservative here. I think he's kind of wary of my Amazons. He does have only 8 players. And I think he's content to take 8 turns to score the touchdown. If he scores quickly, it just gives me time to get the equalizer. So once again, the guard player is going to pay off here by moving her here. This player gets a 2-die block. Succeed in knocking down the blitzer. And it's another injury. The Kislev are down to 7. And this blitzer levels up as well. Two-die block. I succeed thanks to wrestle. Where's the ball going to go? 50% chance to catch. Is it worth taking the reroll? I think it is. And she gets the ball. So the scattered ball kindly went my way. I do have a slight advantage here because it's going to be hard for the Kislev to get a 2-die block, but as I noted earlier, this Kislev coach was very fortunate with his 1-dice blocks. So could this blitzer with block and dodge hold on to the ball? Kislev are on the back foot now. Could they regain the ball? This is the first failed leap. Reroll and fails once again. Ball is not exactly safe. Could attempt to dodge out. It would be a 89% chance to succeed if I dodge over here or over here. But that leaves the question of where I'm going to go with the ball. So let's see how I extricate myself from this situation here. So moving over this side, it looks like. Here comes a blitz from the guard blitzer. So this was a pretty good chain push here, I think. Blitzing with this chain push from with this block over here. Push this player back and then push one player away from the ball carrier. So all I have to do to avoid making a risky dodge now is to attempt to push or knock down this player. So I reposition the guard over here, obviously anticipating that I could eventually get the ball carrier over here. But first I need to do something about this lineman here. 2-die block, it succeeds, and so I move up, follow up the block, marking these players here. But again, because these Kislev players have leap and very long legs, they have a base 67% chance to leap away from their markers. Here's the ball carrier. So this one is marking this player, preventing him from moving freely. Interesting, the Kislev coach opted to make a couple of blocks here instead of moving most of his players out here to provide some basic defense against my ball carrier and her guards. Failed leap there, reroll, and another one dice block. This one thankfully does not result in a knockdown, but merely pushes the ball carrier back. He tries another risky one dice block. This one results in a skull. So I think I'm relatively comfortable now. I get a 2-die block against this blitzer, at which point the ball carrier can move up. Kislev are completely out of position here. Or so it seems, but because they have very long legs and leap, they do tend to pop up in very unexpected positions. He's not picked up this player. Maybe he's hoping to keep him down, hoping that I would forget about him, and then eventually pick him up to and place him forward as a receiver in case he regains the ball. So now I'm making sure the ball is safe, going for it to and that was a 1 in 36. Was there any great reason to make this GFI? My thinking was because my opponent has demonstrated a willingness to make a lot of risky one dice blocks. I needed to move my line woman closer to the ball carrier to turn what would otherwise be a one dice block into a red die block. It failed thanks to double ones. See what the Kislev coach does here. He has 3 turns remaining, he has 2 rerolls remaining. I'm down to 1 after that failed GFI. Okay, jump up means he can move his usual movement allowance. Fails to knock down the ball carrier this time with a 1 dice block. It's only a push thanks to dodge. But now he dodges out another player. I could potentially surf this blitzer. Was it worth taking the risk, or should I concentrate on taking the lead and potentially the winner? Because there's so few turns remaining. The Kislev coach only has 2 turns after this. I think it's better to focus on scoring the winner. Thanks to the guard blitzer, all 3 of these players get 2 die blocks. I think. Here's the first. Here's the second. Ball carrier is now safe. Do I score now or simply stall? Nope. Go for the 1-0. Probably the smartest move. Kislev don't have a lot of options at this point. I think the Kislev coach asked me to end the turns. He had lost a lot of players, so he didn't want to suffer additional injuries. So this was effectively over as a contest because the Kislev coach requested that I simply end my turns, which was to his benefit, because if you recall earlier, he was fouling my players a lot. So he was deeply concerned that I would take on my frustrations on him, but that's not really my style of play. I'm not averse to fouling, but I usually foul only when there's a decisive advantage to be gained. Kislev coach gets the touchback, so both of us simply end our turns here. I had the victory, which was nice. I also had a couple of level ups. This line woman levels up thanks to the MVP award, and I also one of my blitzers leveled up, I think. So if you take a look, the armor breaks 8 apiece. But if you take a look at the casualties, the Kislev managed to KO 5 of my players, injure 1 of my players, and kill 1 of my players. Meanwhile, I managed to injure 4 of his. But because he didn't have much of a bench, he was in a worse shape. So the Amazons return to their winning ways. In terms of SPP, this blitzer got 6 SPP in this one match, and remarkably, she got all 6 SPP through inflicting injuries. So a pretty remarkable performance by this blitzer Snapdragon. This blitzer scored the touchdown. This one injured one of our player, and this one got the MVP award. So it's the dice log again. As I noted in the previous video, there's some reason to doubt that maybe the dice log might be sort of inaccurate. Which is not to say that the dice or there's anything wrong with the RNG or the dice. I don't think that's the case. But it could be that there's something buggy with the dice log itself, because as I noted in a previous video, there's some discrepancy between the BB2 stats grabber and Cyanide's own dice log. But for now, I will see you next time.